Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
As an educator, Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being quoted in school.
Everyone can rise above their circumstances if they are dedicated and passionate.
Today, Nelson Mandela's teachings continue to inspire. Inspiration. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Progressive presents an ad from Mom.
What does it say here? Bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive and get protection round the clock. You know what? I'm sorry. I think it should be around. What are you signaling? Me to stop talking? Oh, all right. I'll stop talking. No, just had to tell me. That's all you have.
Get round-the-clock protection when you bundle and save with Progressive. It's easier than getting your mom to make this radio ad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Yo, 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 you know what time it is. It's time to set this place on fire. Welcome to Atlanta's hottest hip-hop radio show, where we keep it real, keep it raw, and keep those beats banging all morning long. Here at K.L.P. Entertainment. Live from our radio stations of Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio station. ATL's very own K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. And this is K.L.P. in the morning.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning. Welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is KLP in the morning. I'm your host, live and in the flesh early in the morning, live from KLP Studios, of course. This is your host, KLP Kennedy Lucas. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I know, it's been a couple of days. Let me tell y'all. And I say this as I, adjust my posture here. If you guys don't see, well, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can't see. But if you're watching the video version of this podcast, y'all can see that I'm in one of my swanky suits. Yes, it's been a busy week, y'all. I apologize. I really do apologize to a lot of people. Let me fix my mic right here, right now. Oh, there we go. Now we cooking with grits, T. Now, I apologize to a lot of people out there who's been missing me. It's been a very busy week. We've had meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings with a lot of things. K.L.P. Entertainment, K.L.P. Studios, ESPN, to which I'll get to that in a minute. Me being a residence director for Georgia State, it's a lot. But I ain't complaining because, hey, I'm out here getting money. So I'm not going to be mad about me making money out here in Atlanta. But it's been a great week. It's been a long week. Hence why I haven't did my Tuesday's podcast. I apologize. I just had meetings come up. Things come up. And I really do hope that you guys enjoy all the other shows that we produce. We did SNN Primetime News, and by the time you're seeing and watching this morning's show, Simone Teagues, her latest episode should be out. Tea with Simone Teagues, by the way. So we're giving you guys content, and of course, if you are a reader of a fan base of mine, of ours that loves to read, check out the Vox Times latest article. We talked about multimedia in that article, and Luna, she's the writer. She did very, very good. So very, very good. So we're giving you guys the great content that you guys need. Let me just tell you where I've been the last couple of days. I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping and then I get to the news because we've got a lot. Yes, we're talking about GTA 6. Obviously, every YouTuber, every podcaster, every reviewer is talking about it. So Sunday I had a Sunday service, a Sunday event. that I can sort of semi-share. I can't really share too much because there are legal paperwork for that event, but it has something to do with my last occupation, my last institution. I've worked with a professor over there, and gave a great content. So that's where I've been Sunday. Very, very excited for that. Friday, I went to the Small Business Awards, and I'll go ahead and talk about the Small Business Awards real quick this morning because, yes, as many people might have known, and I've said this before, we did get nominated for finalists for the Small Business Awards, and my category was Emerging Entrepreneurs. Now, it was really, really good because if you guys don't know Miss Ricky Claus is a CNN producer, and she was the MC for the event. So it was very, very good to see her voice and her work be heard at the Small Business Awards. I do say to a lot of people that were at the Small Business Awards at 12 Stone Church this past Friday. The Gwinnett Chambers of Commerce was there. That was the hostess of this. Verizon was there. We Bring the Crew was there. A lot of other Pinnacle was there as well. So it was a lot of companies doing sponsorship. Business Radio X was there. I was very excited for them to see that. And Mr. Ethan King. Now, Ethan King is not only a motivational speaker, but he is a graphics designer. He worked with a lot of networks. He worked with Tyler Perry when it comes to their graphic design. He works with different organizations with his small business. It's called Zeus's Closet, and it's an ever-growing business where he sells graphic tees and graphics on t-shirts and jackets and jeans and clothing. And he surprisingly he worked with Emery with some graphic design over there. So Ethan King was there. It was good to hear my name get called out and get the recognition. Now, I didn't win, which it's okay, right? I got to say to a lot of people out there, because at the Small Business Awards, a lot of young entrepreneurs were there, right? A lot of young entrepreneurs were there representing their brand and representing everything that they do within their brand. Now, obviously, us being a small business, K.L.P Entertainment, small business here in Atlanta, I was so blessed to be nominated, T, because I was told, and I forgot that guy's name, but he's the CEO of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. They say that they had 300 people that they were looking at, 300 entrepreneurs that they were picking out, and they were really looking afterwards, and they really wanted to know the style of all 300 entrepreneurs, not just in the Gwinnett area, but just in Georgia in general. So very, very blessed that I was a finalist out of 300 applicants, 300 entrepreneurs to be a finalist when it comes down to the Small Business Awards. I'm very happy about the winner. It was the Georgia First Gen. I'm blanking out on his name, but it's the Georgia First Gen something, and it's a small business. He's working on a lot of college students who are first generation to go to college and finish college. So congratulations to that winner for sure. So Friday was pretty good. It was a pretty good day. I'm not gonna lie, because I never lie on my show. I was upset. I was upset, not because I didn't get picked. I was just a little bit sad because with me, and everybody knows this, my colleagues know this, my siblings, my family, they know this, that when I really want something really, really bad and I don't get it, I get bogged down. I really do, because obviously we work here. I work hard here at K.L.P Entertainment, running this company and doing content and doing a lot of clientele work, and I have a lot of things to show for it. I really do, but I get really upset when I really want something and it just quite doesn't be in my grasp, and I get upset, right? I took this as upset at first, but then I turned it into a positive that out of 300, I was one of the chosen ones. And with this, it just makes me want to work even harder, right? It motivates me to say, okay, I didn't win this year. I need to switch up some tactics and do some other business deals and other business strategies to where I might win next year if I'm nominated next year, right? So I took this with humble. I took this with grace. A good friend of mine a long time ago told me, never be a sore loser. Take it humble. Don't think that you're eating shit pie. Think that you're eating humble pie. So I took it humbly, and I was very excited. And my mom and my older sister came. Shout out to you guys, by the way, on the show. Can't wait because we're going on a Christmas holiday next weekend. So I'm excited for that. And I'm sure my other brothers and my other sister would have came if they were in town. But I had the great support there. And of course, we went out to eat and we celebrated and I had a great weekend. So that was my weekend. And then, of course, I turned into a positive because I had ESPN. I had ESPN on Monday. We won. Georgia State didn't win their game. And I was very excited to operate. I operated a different camera. I put together, produced, and operated a different camera at that match. That camera, and I posted it on my social medias, but that was a $72,000 camera that they trusted me to work with. $72,000. Not $72, not $720, T. $72,000 camera for TV. And I was the chosen one to say, hey, you're the best of the best. We want you on this camera. So very, very good. I'm humbled to put it lightly for ESPN because we're not talking about ESPN. I got stuff to talk about here on the podcast, but I'm very humbled that I was able to operate the camera. I love to say that now, and this has been official for weeks now, but to be an ESPN videographer and an ESPN producer, I get very, very excited about that because it's ESPN. That's a huge sports network. So I'm humbled. I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm thankful for my director position at Georgia State. They've been amazing over there. I'm happy right now, and I told my siblings that this is the happiest I've been in a while. And one last thing before we get down to it, of course, City Never Sleeps. That's my newest film coming out for next year. We wrapped up, and I'm very, very excited for the end result of this movie. I hope that everyone enjoyed this one. This was the first movie. I can say this is going to be the first movie of the year because we've got, I can't announce it yet, but we got something coming for next year. Here's a little hint. We're going back to New York. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I got. That's all I can say on the show. Now let's get to it, guys. Let's get to the topics, the meats and potatoes. Now everybody's been talking about this, so I am super excited to talk about this topic of conversation. So we all saw it. It got an early leak. Everybody's excited. Yes, Rockstar and Take-Two Studios already have my money. They already got it. The reason why I say that because GTA 6 finally gets a release window, gets a release trailer, and based off the trailer that I've seen, I'm excited. Right? I think the internet's trying to get it banned. Andrew Predator Tate has something to say, which he really shouldn't have anything to say right about now, my opinion. I think he's a predator and a monster, but hey, a lot of people, Elon Musk had a lot to say too about GTA 6. I think for all of you celebrities that has something negative to say about a game, Rockstar and Take-Two doesn't give a crap. They know that they're going to make billions, and I do say that with a capital B. They're going to make billions when it comes to this video game because it's Grand Theft Auto 6. GTA 5 did obviously well because it's been ported from PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era up to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and remastered again for Xbox Series and PlayStation 5, right? So we've seen different variations of this game. GTA 5 sold extremely well within, I want to say, almost 10 years of its lifespan. Sorry. For all of you haters that's hating on the game, celebrities have a lot of shit to say. No one cares. Honestly, in my opinion, I think celebrities that got something negative to say, they just want attention right now because the light's not on them. Andrew Tate, light's not on you, buddy. So, of course, you're going to say whatever you feel because, hey, I need something to say so I can stay relevant. And I say that with humble because he's rich, right? I don't know if the FBI sees in his cars after what he's been through, but he's successful in his own right. Now, I'm not going to shame a man for not being successful. I'm not going to shame you for that. But I kind of feel that if you have a lot to say about this game for no really reason, just to say something, just to have something to say, that's when I kind of get boggled down a little bit. I just kind of get boggled just a little bit when it comes down to that. But anyway, GTA 6 looks amazing. I can tell they used the latest update of Unreal Engine. The story is set, or the scenery, I should say, is set. They say is set back in Vice City. So they're using Vice City, but they're having more Florida elements. GTA, Rockstar, and Take-Two, they're realizing that over the last and I say this with humbleness, guys, because Charlemagne the God said this a lot on the Breakfast Club, and it is true. He always says the craziest people are the craziest people that come from Florida, right? That's his slogan. That's what he's been saying on the show as of late. Because if you realize that a lot of stories, a lot of not the entirety of shootings, but shootings, racism, craziness, all of that, most of that comes from Florida. Within the past 2 years, all of those stories, it's somewhere in Florida. So honestly, GTA, Rockstar, Take-Two, they're going to push up on that idea and say, hey, we've got some craziness from Florida. Let's go back to Vice City and really allocate memes and top stories that hit home for a lot of people that happen in Florida. Let's put it into this game somehow. And it works. People love it. I joke with a lot of my guy friends, because they say my guy friends, and I hope this doesn't sound sexist on this morning's show, but I mean, this is what we say. So we saw the trailer and we saw obviously all the women, that's the non-playable women characters in the game. And one of my friends was like, boy, she looking thick for a video game character. So we would joke and we would make guy jokes, right? And we laughed, we clowned about it. But honestly, I do think that this game is going to be fantastic. A lot of people were stressed about it being released in 2025. Yes, that is the release date for GTA is 2025. I think I speak for a lot of YouTubers, podcasters that agree with this. I honestly agree with this time frame. I wouldn't be upset if this game got delayed. I hope it doesn't get delayed from 2025 to 2026. I pray to God that that doesn't happen. But look at big titles. Look at, for an example, Cyberpunk 27. When that game came out, it was rushed. It was blocky and choppy. It was glitchy. Excuse me. It's cold outside. Sorry. It's a lot of things that CD Projekt Red did wrong, or tried to fix but did wrong at release date, because they rushed the game out. It wasn't finished, and they damn near went bankrupt from Cyberpunk. Now, over the years, they fixed it. I recommend people playing it today, because the new expansion, Idris Elba is in this new expansion. It got better, right? Especially for the PlayStation 5, this game, Cyberpunk, got better. 3 years too late, though, but it got better. Rockstar doesn't want to have that same problem, to where the fans want it now. So they're rushing things out. I don't want to pay full price, $70, damn near. Rockstar might say $80, $90 for this video game, maybe. I don't want to pay that much for a video game that is unfinished. Right? Because I'm going to call, hey, I want my money back. So honestly, I say this to Rockstar and Take-Two, if they're somehow listening to the podcast, take your time. We can wait. I would rather you finish this game, so that way it's like, game of the year, 2025. That's what I want to see from this game. I want to see all the great elements that you put from Unreal Engine, from PlayStation's newer stuff that you can do it with, right? Fidelity and 60 frames per second. Frame rate is great. Character development, the story is good, right? The acting, actressing, like, I want to see it all. But I want to see it done perfectly right. That's why I say to a lot of, let's wait. A lot of people are pissed off. 2025, wait. Because number one, there's plenty of games out there you can play right now. Wait. these developers have to take time because they're going to turn around and say, hey, we want $80 from this game. Right? Because they're not going to be like, hey, you rushing us. We'll get it done in a rush order. But hey, I still want $80. And then you're upset with the outcome. And now you just wasted $80. Gamers, we got to wait. We got to wait for them to cook. They got to cook it. They got to make sure it's 100% right. Because I know they're probably going to ask more than $70 for this video game. I feel it. And they can. And people like me will buy the game and they're going to make a profit from it. So let's wait. A lot of people did say it's overcrowded. I think it's smart that trailers come out, because when trailers come out for a game that is expected a year and a half from now, they can start taking notes from feedback, and then they can just kind of say, okay, let's not do that. Let's take that out. Oh, well, we heard a lot of people had a negative for this from the trailer, so let's go ahead and take that out now, right? So they're smart at the game. They know what they're doing. They're listening to our talk show and podcast, and they're taking notes of all of this because they are willing to take it to where they can take notes, take some things out to make sure there's a consistency that the audiences doesn't like this thing. They can go ahead and take it out now, way in advance. So like I say, trailer's good. It's short. I know we're probably going to see some more. I don't want to say E3 2024 because E3 has been canceled a long time ago. But yeah, it's good. It's a good trailer. I really do enjoy it. Guys, check it out. The trailer is here. It's amazing. It's good. So coming up next, we got Axel here in the studio to give us our latest in sports news. Go ahead, Axel. Take it away.
May I have your attention, please? It's time!
Though disappointed in the allegations of domestic violence made against Von Miller, Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane stressed on Wednesday that he wants the legal process to play out and not rush to making any judgments. Otherwise, Beane said, Miller will participate in practice and is expected to play on Sunday when the Bills, 6-6, travel to play the Kansas City Chiefs, 8-4. Beane spoke for the team as the Bills returned from their bye-week off, and a week after Miller turned himself into police in a Dallas suburb after being charged in a warrant with domestic violence against the mother of his children, who is pregnant. Miller faces a charge of third-degree felony assault of a pregnant woman, which is punishable by 2 to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. He is free after posting a $5,000 bond. No one wants their name associated with any accusation like that, so that's a natural disappointment. I'm sure he's disappointed, Beane said. But things happen sometimes, and again, we have to remember people. We have to give them their fair due process. That can happen to anyone in this room. And I would hope we would all wait and let that play out before we rush to judgment. Saying the Bills are following the NFL's lead, Beane called the allegations serious while adding they seemed out of character for a person he's come to know over the past year and a half since signing Miller in free agency. In Dallas, the district attorney's office informed the Associated Press on Wednesday that it had no updates on the investigation since Miller turned himself in a day after the alleged assault occurred on November 29th. According to a police affidavit which officers wrote, Miller twice put his hands on the neck of the woman, pulled out a chunk of her hair and threw her onto a couch. The woman was treated for minor injuries, including bruising on her neck, police said. The woman and Miller have been in a relationship for 7 years and have children together, police wrote in an affidavit supporting the arrest warrant. Speaking after Beane, Bills coach Sean McDermott said Miller wasn't going to practice on Wednesday but will practice fully on Thursday as part of a plan that was put in place before the bye week. As for the allegations, McDermott said, it's a very, very serious situation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The coach then deferred to Beane in saying the GM spoke for the team, while McDermott was placing his focus on practice. Beane said he's discussed what happened with Miller and his representatives but preferred keeping those conversations private. Beane said he's also been in contact with the NFL and doesn't anticipate Commissioner Roger Goodell placing Miller on the exempt list. The NFL issued a statement on Wednesday saying it continues gathering information and following all legal developments. In the past, players aren't placed on the commissioner's exempt list until formal charges are filed by a prosecutor or through the findings of a grand jury, or when the league's own investigation concludes there was a potential violation of the NFL's personal conduct policy. The woman told police she was 6 weeks pregnant and showed them a photograph of a positive pregnancy test and a screenshot of a text conversation with Miller in which they discussed the possible due date of the child and a doctor visit. According to police, Miller threw the woman's laptop on the couch and stomped on it. After pulling out some of her hair and throwing her on a couch, he put both hands on her neck. She told police she recorded some of the attack and, when she threatened to call police, he left. Miller is the NFL's active leader in sacks with 123.5, which is 19th all-time. Selected number 2 overall by the Denver Broncos in the 2011 NFL Draft, he is a 3-time All-Pro and an 8-time Pro Bowl pick. A popular and highly visible player, he has appeared in television commercials for brands including Old Spice and Progressive. He has 2 Super Bowl rings, from the 2015 season with the Broncos and 2021 with the Rams after Denver traded him to Los Angeles during that season. He then signed with Buffalo the following spring. Miller was born in DeSoto, south of Dallas, and was a 2-time first-team All-American at Texas A&M. He holds the Broncos' career record in sacks with 110.5.
And thanks, Axel. We really appreciate you as well. New correspondent for sure. Real quick, I wanted to talk about this show. I do have a must-watch list. This is a show that I've started to watch. Came out in 2019, so I'm a little late to the game with this show, but I did start watching it because it did get released on Netflix. It was the top 10 for Netflix. Now, this show is called the First Wives Club. Now, I know you probably gonna like, Kennedy, what you doing watching a show like that? I love shows like this. I really do. Let me tell y'all, this show is spicy, it's sexy, it's smart, and it's real. This show that is available on Netflix, it is called, again, First Wives Club. And I'm trying to get the cast list going here because Jill Scott is in this one. And I joke with my mom a lot. Mom, I love you. But I joke with her a lot simply because Jill Scott's character reminds me of my mom. She really does. So I have to make fun of her when it comes down to it, because it is really something to see. It's really a good show because it's real, it's raw, it's something that is smart. I think Jalen, I'm trying to get the cast list here, but Jalen, the actress that plays Jayla, excuse me, it's Jayla. I love Jayla because she's sexy and she's smart. Like, I'm here for that. I'm so here for that. Because, you know, Jayla, she's the lawyer friend of the group, and she's smart. And she, you know, she got a boyfriend, you know, she got a little boo thing going on for that, for sure. But she knows what she wants, and she makes money. There was some scenes of Jayla that, you know, you're in her house, and her house probably has a lot of money, right? So I really love this. Now, this is Michelle Michinor plays Jayla Wright. I love Jayla's character. I wish I'm praying, right? Because obviously I'm still sort of single, right? I want my girlfriend to be like Jayla. I do. I'm sorry. I do. Smart, independent, but not so intimidating. Because let me tell you, I've had some intimidating women in my lifetime. And, you know, sometimes it scares me a little bit, but sometimes I like to go in there. So Jayla's my favorite character out of the bunch. But of course, you got Jill Scott to play Hazel. Rochelle, you got Michelle B2. Ooh, I hope I pronounced these names right. Tyrus plays Bree Washington, and then you got Ryan Michelle. There's a lot of Michelles in here. Ryan Michelle Bath to play Ari Montgomery. It sucks how, spoiler alert to a lot of people too if you ain't seen the show, it sucks how they kill her off, right? She dies because she had a hysterectomy, I think. So they kind of killed her off from the show, maybe because she didn't renew for the season. So I get it that you have to write that in and kill a character off. But she was really, really good. And she's fine. I'm sorry, I'm not a pervert, but all these women are fine. Like, I think Jill Scott is fine. And I say that very lightly because I did say Jill Scott's character reminded me of mom. So I'm being careful about how I say that. But yeah, all these women are fine. Jayla Wright, the character Jayla Wright, Michelle mentioned that she's my favorite, right? You got Ron Rico Lee to play Gary Washington. He's been in a lot of great stuff. He worked with Tyler Perry. He's in Survivor's Remorse. He's been in a lot of things. You got Mark Tallman to play David Montgomery. Malik Yoba. Now, it's really good to see Gavin and Sheila in this movie. Now, if you guys don't know what I mean, of course, Jill Scott played Sheila in Why Did I Get Married? And Malik Yoba played Gavin. Of course, Gavin dies in the second movie. The character does. So it's good to see Gavin and Sheila in this movie. He's playing Derek Ellsworth. Tara Pacchio, she plays Versace or Sasha. I like her too. I really do. I like all these women. All these women are just so beautiful in this show. And that's really the main cast. Deborah Cox plays Regina, and I think she's fine too. Hey, I like my older women too, by the way. So all these women that play in the show, they did really, really good. I think this show it's so funny, it's so witty, it's so smart. It kind of reminds me a little bit from Empire, which is funny because Malik Yoba played Uncle Vernon and Empire. So it's one of those shows that is worth a watch. I binge watched it. So if I binge watch it, I would say it's good. I like it. I really do like shows like this because you're dealing with the espionage of the drama. You're dealing with Hazel and her because Hazel, Jill Scott's character, plays a famous singer, and she recruits Deborah Cox's character, Regina, and she forms a new label because her husband, which is Malik Yoba, Derek, which is funny because it's Gavin and Sheila married. That's weird. But, Derek takes all the money and then kills him off because he's a dirtbag, and now she's trying to start a label. Meanwhile, she has her best friends, Bree and Ari. Ari's husband, David, played by Mark Tallman. He's running for senator, and then there's the marriage issues there. And then all three of them cheat on their partners with another partner. So it's a whole. Oh, and Bree, her character, she's a doctor, and she turns down the head of surgery at first, and now she gets it, and then she has a kind of a crush on the other head doctor at the hospital, and thinks about fantasies, and not think about Gary Washington, her husband. So, and then Gary Washington is a writer, right? So he's writing David's article, and then he started a book writing. So it's like, I'm jumping around here, but it's a lot of characters got their own thing going on. And that's what I like about the show, is because they're writing so much character development, right? My favorite is Jayla Wright. Sorry, she's my prime favorite. She's smart, she's sexy, and she's black. So I love it. I'm here for her. I'm crushing on her. I guess I'm crushing on her. I want my future girlfriend to be just like Jayla Wright in this show, First Wives Club, because she's smart, she's witty, and she's cute. But like I say, it's good. It's a good show. It's a very, very good show. Available on Netflix right now if you haven't catched it. It's good something to watch. It's good something to binge watch too. All seasons. I hope, because Netflix does this weird thing where they cancel seasons when it's a good show. So hopefully they get renewed. Like, hopefully Netflix picks them up and say, hey, we like the show. Can you make a next season? We'll produce it, right? Only time can tell with that. Really, only time can tell. But guys, again, First Wives Club available right now on Netflix for sure. So we've got more hip hop news. Actually, nope, I'm lying. With hip hop news, we gave that to Simone. I'm so sorry, y'all. The last minute business news, but we'll go ahead and have Addison talk about that, because I got to talk about Travis Malloy's latest album. So Addison, take it away, honey.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
Holiday shoppers are turning to Walmart for groceries and gifts, but CEO Doug McMillon said it's hard to predict how sales will look in the months after the peak shopping season. In an interview with Sarah Eisen that aired Wednesday on CNBC's Squawk on the Street, the leader of the world's largest retailer said higher credit card balances and dwindling household bank accounts raise questions about how much consumers will spend even after they showed more resilience than expected this year. If we had been talking last spring or at the beginning of last year, I expected more softness by this time of the year than we are actually experiencing, he said. But, Macmillan added, next year's a different story. Deflation in some items is creating a new dynamic for Walmart, Macmillan said. In general merchandise, the category that includes electronics, toys and other non-food items, prices have dropped by about 5% compared with a year ago, he said. For example, this holiday season Walmart has 25 toy items under $25, including a Hot Wheels car for $1.18, Macmillan said. Prices in food categories are about where they were a year ago, though fresh foods tend to fluctuate, he said. Macmillan said the company has seen the volume of its non-food sales start to come back. Back to school helped drive some of that rebound. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens in the general merchandise categories in the year ahead because prices are so much lower, he said. Walmart has stood apart from many other retailers over the past year, as its large grocery business and low price reputation have propped up its revenue and stock price during a period when retail sales have weakened. As of Tuesday's close, Walmart shares had climbed nearly 10% this year, and they hit an all-time high in mid-November. The discounter gave a lower than expected full-year forecast in November, but unlike Target, Macy's and other retailers, it projected sales growth. Walmart expects consolidated net sales will rise 5% to 5.5%, and adjusted earnings per share will be $6.40 to $6.48 for the fiscal year. Deflation, or falling prices, will bring tough comparisons for Walmart and other retailers. If each item costs less, companies will have to work harder to sell more items. Macmillan said he's confident Walmart can drive growth, even in that environment. And, he said, shoppers need pressure on their budgets to ease too. Despite the challenges deflation would create for Walmart, we'd rather have lower prices than higher prices, he said.
Thanks, Addison. Really appreciate it for sure. Now, and I appreciate Addison because really Addison, she's like the last minute news for the show, but I need to push her because I got to talk about this album. So, yes, album review time. Travis Malloy. You killed that man. Travis Malloy's The Manifestation is out right now on all audio platforms, wherever you get your music from. I get my music from Spotify, so of course I took a listen. And I just gotta say, Travis Malloy's latest album, and I might even tag him in this post, and I'm not thirsty. I ain't trying to do all that, but I got to shout him out. I have to, right? Because The Manifestation, and I think I talked about this before the album came out in the last episode. My family is big on manifestation. We are. That is our word for the year. As I said in my previous podcast, my siblings, we've all had a career change. We have, right? Without putting so much information out there on blast, I would say this. A lot of my siblings had a career change to where we're either executives and we're all directors, right? And this is something I never would see my siblings and I doing because we're worker bees. We work really hard at what we got, right? And to see the amount of growth that my siblings have seen this year, 2023, has been nothing but a miracle. I see, without giving too much information, I see my mom striving for better. I see my dad striving for better. Because honestly, my dad had a career change too this year. So I gotta say, this is the year of manifestation for us. right? We're doing so much dope stuff that I can't name here on the show, but we're doing so much dope stuff that it's really making a difference in our community, and our lives has been better. Now, I did say this in the podcast last episode briefly, and I'll say this. I've had my lowest lows in 2015. I had my lowest lows in 2020. And also a little bit beginning of 2021. I also got low this year. I would say I got low before I came to Georgia State. I was depressed. I was sad. I was waiting for stuff, waiting for a change. Right? And then I switched careers, and then I became a director. And yeah, now my high is high. My lowest lows, I listen to music for encouragement. And I don't know if I said this last podcast, and I might have said this last podcast, but Travis Malloy's first album, or, well, yeah, I want to say that was his first album, Faith Journey, helped me get through a lot of tough shit. Tough shit. 2021 and 2020. Because it was COVID, right? I was working at Hotel Works, and all my colleagues from Hotel Work got laid off. So it was quiet. I dealt with rude guests because it was COVID. All the things with the whole thing in the world, mass shooting, Kobe Bryant dying, George Floyd getting murdered. I was at my lowest low, to where they Crunch in Snellville had to close in COVID. So I was getting fat. I drunk like a fish. I ate like a damn pig. That was my lowest low. Travis Malloy for Faith Journey. I was switching careers from Amazon, hard ass Amazon in 2020, 2021 to starting at Emory, going back to higher education. My lowest low, Travis Malloy. And then the same period where I just wasn't really happy with Emory and my job. And I'm like, damn, I'm waiting on Georgia State. They ain't called me back yet. I'm sad. My lowest low. Faith Journey, Travis Malloy, and prayer. And now I'm over and doing some dope stuff. Same thing with my family. They've been at their lowest lows, and now they're striving. So when I hear this album, The Manifestation, Travis Malloy continues to embody the soul of gospel, but with a hint of R&B. Bam, he made an album. I like both. I like his gospel bag, and I like his R&B bag. Now, as I open up my Spotify, I encourage everybody, if you're into gospel or an R&B, give Travis Malloy a try, because it's a great album for sure. And Manifestation, all of these songs are great. Do I have a favorite? Yes. Good to Me is my favorite, because it has a cookout vibe. He says it in the song. It's that 90s cookout vibe. It is. That's my favorite. My second favorite from this album is Promises. My third is where is it? The Money song, Millions, Billions, Trillions. That's his brand, by the way. And then there is I Ain't Going Nowhere. That's the first song. That's my next favorite. And then Anytime is my next. Now, not to say that those are just my favorite. Not to say there's the other songs suck. That's not what I'm saying. I like all the songs. I just have a favorite that I need to listen to the song first, because that's my prime favorite. I'm happy about this album. This album is another faithfulness album. I listen to it religiously now. I do listen to it when I go to the gym, and I listen to it if I'm in the car driving somewhere, because that's the songs that I need for motivation, right? I listened to The Manifestation Friday. Friday was the Small Business Awards. I was a finalist. I was heading to my award show, and I listened to The Manifestation, not only because it came out that day, but I was just so joyous, and I had so much faithfulness in my heart, and I was going to a church, that 12 Stone, that's the church, right? So I was feeling it. Also, I was feeling it when I was leaving we went to lunch afterwards. I listened to the whole album again. And then again, when I worked out the next day. It's a good one. It's a very, very good one. I'm so happy about with Travis Malloy. I try not to be so fanboy on the show. But yes, he has it. He has something. And this is a message for me to Travis Malloy, if he's somehow watching this segment or the show. Thank you for your music. Continue doing what you're doing, because for a guy like me who had his lowest lows, you were amongst other R&B R&B or gospel singers that I listen to. Also, you were the one that really inspired me and got me out my lowest lows. So I thank you for your music. I hope to meet you one day. I really do. But thank you for your work, because you really got me through some tough times, and I hope your music inspires others to get out of that rut, because we're just in a rough time right now. The world is so weird right now. I watched a lot of TikTok videos where families, parents are struggling to even buy Christmas gifts this year because things are just so tight, right? And they have to have that sad, honest question to their kids, like, hey, Sally Sue, you want that dollhouse? That's $70. Honey, I can't afford that this year, honestly. So they have to pivot. So yeah, it's a good one. Travis Malloy, The Manifestation, and it is out now. Take a listen. Just take a listen. All his albums, take a listen. Y'all ain't gonna regret it. So that's gonna wrap it up here on our show this morning, K.L.P in the morning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're watching the video version of the show. And if you're listening to the audio version of this show, please remember, like, comment, and share with your friends, knowing that we were live and on any platform, audio platform you get your podcast from. We appreciate it for sure. That's going to wrap it up here at K.L.P in the morning. I've been your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Stay safe, stay swanky. Peace.